in here?
I'm giving out sauce for free.
Free sauce? Who are you?
I'm JB Cuts, and I'm gonna show you how you can be better than barbering.
1, 2, 3, hit me!
What up YouTube, it's JB Cuts, and I'm back with you with another video. A lot of people be asking me about the state board and what be on now. And today, I'm gonna talk to you about the properties and disorders of the hair and scalp. First, we need to know the scientific study of the hair. It is called trichology, and that derives from the Greek word trichos. Hair is important because it protects the head from the heat, cold, and even provides it as a cushion to prevent injuries. Hair is composed of a fibrous protein called keratin, and the hair root is enclosed within the follicle of the hair shaft. The whole hair shaft is what we see extending above the hair surface. Now let's get into the structures of the hair root. What is a follicle? A follicle is a tube-like depression or the pocket in the skin that contains the hair root. The follicle also extends down from the epidermis into the dermis. Sometimes we have to be aware that more than one hair strand can develop in one follicle. The hair bulb is a club-shaped structure. It forms the lower part of the hair root and is the lowest part of the hair strand. We also have the dermal papilla. It's a small shaped elevation that sits at the base of the hair follicle and fits into the hair bulb. We have small sac-like structures that sit at the bottom of the hair follicles as well. They are called sebaceous glands. They secrete an oily substance called sebum. This is used to lubricate the skin. Alright, now let's get into the structures of the hair shaft. We need to know that we have three main layers to the hair shaft. We have the cuticle, the cortex, and the medulla. We also need to know where these structures are positioned. The cuticle is the outermost layer of the hair shaft and consists of single shells that are kind of transparent, and they are scale-like that look like shingles on the roof. It's used to protect the inner structure of the hair and acts as the barrier to protect the inner structure of the hair. Then we have the cortex. The cortex is the middle layer of the hair. It has a fibrous protein core that contains melanin pigment. And we need to know that about 90% of the weight of the hair comes from the cortex. It also is important because it provides strength, elasticity, and a natural hair color. Then we have the medulla. It is the innermost layer of the hair and is composed of round cells. And you will not find a medulla in very fine or blonde hair. Now let's talk about how hair grows. Hair is composed of a protein that grows from cells that originate within the hair follicle. When the living cells are born, they begin a journey and they mature through a process called keratinization. Once the hair pierces through the follicle, the hair strand is completely keratinized, which means it is no longer living because it does not have any more cells. Let's get into hair pigment. Natural hair color is the result of melanin found within the cortex. Melanin are tiny grains of pigment found in the cortex that give the hair its color. There are two types of melanin. We have eumelanin, which provides black or brown colors to hair. Then we have pheomelanin, which provides natural hair colors that range from red, ginger, yellow, or light blonde tones. Gray hair only consists of scattered melanin pigments, and white hair has none. We also have different types of hair that grow on us. We have two main types. We have vellus hair or lanugo. It is short, fine, unpigmented, downy hair, and it never has a medulla or melanin. You'll usually see it on babies, and in adults, you'll see it in areas where hair usually does not grow, like eyelids, forehead, ears, etc. Then we have terminal hair. Terminal hair is the long hair found on the scalp, legs, and arms and bodies of males and females. Hormonal changes during puberty decides when the vellus hair turns into terminal hair. Now let's discuss the growth of the hair. The average growth on a human being is about 1/2 inch per month. The rate of growth will differ on specific parts of the body depending on race, ethnicity, and age. We need to know that the hair growth rate on the scalp grows fastest in between ages 15 and 30, and it declines between sharply 50 and 60. So in this case, we need to know that we have three phases that we need to worry about that always change throughout our lifespan. We have the anagen phase, the catagen phase, and intelligent phase. In the anagen growth phase, new hair is produced, and they are produced way faster. About 90% of scalp hair is from the anagen phase. The anagen phase determines how long the hair will grow before shedding. Therefore, the longer the anagen phase, the longer your hair will grow. Then we have the catagen phase. During the catagen phase, the follicle shrinks, the hair bulb disappears, and the shrunken root end forms a round club. The catagen phase lasts from 1 to 2 weeks. We always have less than 1% of the hair in the catagen phase. Then we have the telogen phase. The telogen phase is the final stage of hair growth. The hair either sheds or waits until the anagen phase for another hair follicle to arrive and a hair strand to push it out. The telogen phase lasts for approximately 3 to 6 months, or until the hair is shed. As soon as the telogen phase ends, new hair from the anagen phase comes. The entire growth cycle repeats itself every 4 to 5 years. When it comes to shedding hair, it is normal to lose an average of 75 to 100 strands of hair per day. The shedding process makes room for new hair. It is important when cutting also to look for the hair stream. We want to make sure we know where our client's hair growth pattern is located. We want to make sure we look for the hair stream. The hair stream is the hair that flows in the same direction. Sometimes we may have whorls or cowlick. A whorl is hair that grow in a circular or swirl pattern. Whorls are often seen in the crown area. Then you have cowlick. It's a tuft of hair that stands straight up. They are more usually noticeable at the front hairline, but they could be located anywhere on the scalp. Now, since we're talking about disorders of the hair and scalp, we also need to understand hair loss. We need to know the different types of alopecias that can cause. Alopecia is abnormal hair loss, and alopecia can appear in many different results forming hair loss, such as androgenic alopecia, and that's hair loss that results in aging or genetic. We need to know almost 40% of men and women see some hair loss by the age of 35. We also have alopecia areata, which is an autoimmune disorder. It causes the hair follicles to be mistakenly attacked, which stops hair growth at the anagen phase. You could classify it by it falling out in round patches, and it'll create a bald spot, and it'll also be smooth. This can also result to alopecia totalis, which is complete baldness of the scalp. And you also have alopecia universalis, which is complete body hair loss. Then we also have alopecia senilis. This is normal hair loss resulting as old age, and it's also permanent. And we have alopecia syphilitica. This is caused by syphilis. The non-inflamed bald areas look molted or moth-eaten, and the disease may also affect the beard and eyebrow area. The hair usually will grow back once the disease is cured. So how do we fix this? We have 2 hair loss treatments. These are approved by the FDA. We have minoxidil, which is a topical treatment that has been proven to create hair growth. It is applied to scalp twice a day and the most recommended because it is not known to have any negative side effects. Then we have finasteride, which is an oral prescription or medication for men. It's sold under the brand name Propecia. This is extremely effective in slowing hair loss and can help grow the hair. However, once you stop using the drug, all the hair loss returns. Although finasteride is the most effective, side effects are possible, which includes weight gain and the loss of sexual function. Now we need to recognize some disorders of the scalp as well. This is important because when you do your analysis, you can also diagnose your client and tell them what's going on if it's not nothing too bad, or if it is, stop the service and refer them to a dermatologist. We have different types of dandruff we see. Dandruff, or pityriasis is the technical term for it, is characterized by the excessive production and accumulation of dead skin cells. And we also have psoriasis, which is big white flakes, another form of dandruff, just more extreme. Now we want to make sure we can identify different fungal infections, such as tinea. Tinea is a medical term for ringworm. Ringworm is caused by fungal organism and is characterized by itching scales and sometimes painful circular lesions. It usually starts with a small reddened patch and it spreads outward. All forms of tinea are highly contagious. Clients with suspected tinea should be referred ASAP to a physician and must not, I repeat, must not receive a service in a barbershop. You have tinea capitis, and you could tell that is that because it has red pus-like openings at the scalp. The hair comes brittle in that area and falls off. And we also have tinea barbae, which is basically ringworm of the face. We also need to recognize bacterial infections. We have folliculitis barbae, which is characterized by an infection of the hair follicles, the bearded areas of the face, and on the neck, and may have hairs growing through and may pustule. And we also have pseudofolliculitis barbae, aka razor bumps. It could be caused by improper shaving or broken hair underneath the skin. Once the hair is cut below the skin surface, It grows to the side of the follicle, which gives bacteria a perfect chance to grow in that environment. Please be sure to use proper shaving techniques so this won't happen. A furuncle is a boil, acute bacterial infection of the hair follicle, producing constant pain, and it causes a pustule perforated by hair. So this is all important because we also have to do a scalp analysis so we can see this and diagnose this before we start our service. So we need to know how to properly do a scalp analysis. You want to comb through the hair gently, and you want to check for abrasions, hypertrophies such as moles, warts, and parasites or funguses. We also look into the hair texture. Hair texture is the degree of coarseness or fineness in the individual hair strands. We have 3 different types of hair textures. We have coarse, medium, or fine. Coarse hair has the largest diameter and tends to be the strongest. Medium hair is the most common hair texture and usually doesn't pose any concerns or special problems during a hair service. Fine hair has the smallest diameter. Some fine or very fine hair does not possess a medulla. Then we have the hair density. The hair density refers to the number of hair strands per square inch and is classified as thick, average, or thin. And we also have porosity. Porosity is the ability for the hair to absorb moisture. And we also have hair elasticity. Elasticity is the ability for the hair to stretch up to 50% and return back to its original state. Any hair that breaks easily or doesn't return back has low elasticity. Alright, I'm JB Cuts. That was the property and disorder of the scalp and hair. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Alright. I'm trying to get y'all ready for the state board so y'all can take y'all tests and be confident that you're gonna pass and you're gonna get this W. I'm giving out free sauce. I'm JB Cuts. I'm gone.
Right.